So greetings from my little office back in Yorkshire in England. We didn't get a chance to finish the verdict when we was out in Portugal, mainly due to the weather, because the weather was really against us. We were just trying to get as many laps in as we could because the weather was constantly changing, and we just wanted to keep throwing laps at it really. So we had 2 days on the 1200 RS, 1 day on the road, 1 day on track. Starting with the track, as you can tell, some of the conditions were really bad, but what you can do is you can trim those rider ears, trim those modes, trim the power. We had full race wets, so no excuses really, and just got stuck in and got on with it. What's really interesting when you ride it on track is the track in some corners was really sketchy, really slippery, and then in other corners it was nearly dry, as in like knee down on race wets, and the track was changing almost every lap. So I think the third or fourth session, the last 3 corners had loads of grip, the first 2 corners had no grip, over the hill really bad grip, and then grip again, then no grip, and the track was always changing. And what was impressive is that you could feel the track changing, you could feel the grip changing, and this was happening lap after lap. There was sometimes rain showers on one part and not on the other, and if you can feel the grip changing, if you feel confident in the bike, then that's a one-to-one communication with the chassis, and that's what that new EC3 semi-active Öhlins suspension was doing. It was changing and reacting, but also giving excellent feedback. Same with the ABS and same with the traction control. Obviously when you come back into the pits, we were changing. You could have done it on the fly, but I actually prefer to do it back in the pits. In terms of power and performance, it's really strong. You can easily short shift in between corners, go from 4th to 5th, and it'll pull you through the corner. Really nice torque, really nice drive, sounds really good. It's not got the 200 horsepower of some of the bikes in this class, but really strong, really powerful engine, and it sounds good. Brakes, really strong. Again, in the wet, not too intrusive. You can feel them working, but it just gives you that little safety net, that safety burden. The wheelie control we played with a little bit at the end of the day. So you basically got 4 levels of wheelie control. Level 1 is like a hover, and then 2 is a bit higher, 3 is higher, and 4 is below balance point, but still allows you to kind of show off and wheelie to friends, is the easiest way to say it. So for those who can't wheelie, set it to level 4, second gear, 100% throttle, come over a crest. It'll hold the wheelie, but then you soon run out of revs and you have to put in another gear, then another gear, then another gear. And if you keep throwing in gears and keep the throttle at 100%, it'll keep the wheelie and it'll keep going. For the likes of me and Rennie, who you normally see on this channel, I personally switched off the wheelie and just wheelied it normally, covering the back brake like you would normally. Without the wheelie device you can go higher, which means you can get it on the balance point, which means you don't have to chase the RPM. But if you can't wheelie and you've never wheelied before, you're intimidated and worried about wheelies, it's an excellent system. We got a chance to ride on the road. Again, it was a little bit mixed conditions, but again this highlighted some really good aspects of the bike. When it was really damp, cold, horrible, and you're kind of getting through town in Portugal, the roads are not great, but the semi-active suspension, EC3 suspension, is really soft, really soft, almost to the point where you think we could do panniers, we could go touring, we could put a big screen. It's really plush and nice and sports touring. Then when you up the pace and you change the modes, again the suspension changes how it reacts, and it becomes it has less travel. The chassis has much more hold. You can ride much more spirited and much more sporty. And then obviously when we go to the track, it was the same suspension, it's just flicking a few buttons, and again you can go again. Preload isn't electronic, that's manual, and like the Fireblade SP, you can put in your weight in kilograms, and then it will give you recommended preload settings that you change. In terms of negatives, the clocks on social media seem to be 50-50. Some people love them, some people hate them. Personally, I kind of like them, as in how they appear, but they're very slow in how they operate compared to some on other bikes. So on other bikes they're a little bit clearer and a little bit more intuitive. The Triumph isn't so much. But it's the same on other big Triumph models. So if you're familiar with other big Triumphs, you'll know what I mean. Just like a computer that's got too much memory stored, so it just takes a little bit while to change and to move from one operation to the next. But in terms of what the bike was like on the road on track, I think the big thing for me is this electronic semi-active EC3 suspension. The only other bikes to have that is the Fireblade SP, the Ducati Panigale, and the Street Fighter V4S, which are all expensive bikes. So for the price, this has gone up in price, but it is the cheapest bike with that Öhlins EC3 suspension, and it is phenomenal. It goes from soft, friendly sports tourer to, you know, almost track focused, really put down some fast laps and really have fun. Obviously, this is not a full test because we need to ride it in the dry, we need to ride it on slicks. We don't know what ground clearance is like, we don't know if the brakes fade. There's certain aspects that we need to retouch again, but in terms of the first initial impressions are really strong, really positive. We need to play around with the rider aids and the engine brake strategy a little bit more, which we need to do ideally in perfect conditions when we've got slicks. I believe you can't turn off the anti-wheelie and have traction on. You have to turn them both off, which is a little bit of a negative, but I think the amount of riders that'll affect is probably 2 or 3%. As usual, if you've got any questions, fire them below and we'll get back to you.